Good morning, scholars. This is another um, uh, our course this morning, Industrial Economics, Eco 352. All right, and I've just decided to give you this PowerPoint with the recording, so you take your time to be going through it, and as I teach you, go through the PowerPoint. You'll be seeing it now. So it is important for those of you who have also online and digital economy is the direction, is the way to go right now. Yes, I'm going to come to the school. I'm having interaction 1 or 2 days with you, but I want you to be conscious of the fact that it is where to go. During COVID, it was perfectly done, and also when you're exiting school, you will be. That's what most of you it's required of you in the office. If you don't have a digital experience, you better start preparing now. It's better start preparing because you'll be told to come and give lectures, give talks by virtual means. So start it now. That's a new narrative. Somebody text that he paid for live teaching. What the hell? What are you talking about? Don't try it. Be conscious of that. We'll be applying a mixed grade. Okay. And so this is industrial economics, and I will also emphasize that you take what I've given the voiceover, but I'm going to show you now the PowerPoint presentation. I've given it to you earlier, but let me discuss it now. All right? I've given you this PowerPoint introduction, scope, method of industrial economics, the industry, and the firm. So you need to see it now. I'm discussing the PowerPoint now. That's why I'm recording it. I'm sending it to you. All right. I hope it's much better now. Yeah, than even the voiceover. Over. So in industrial economics, like I said earlier, is that distinctive branch of economics that deals with the problems of firms, industries, markets, and their relationships with society. Very important. Problems of firms, problems of industries, the markets, and their relationship within the society. Industrial economics will look at firms of all sizes. For instance, the sole trader, the local shop, those who have local shop, very close to your where you eat, your restaurant and all that, those shops, even at Gregory University there. All right? We'll be looking at that one, it's like a sole trader. You know that. You know what sole trading is all about. Sole trader, one man business. That's local shop to multinational giants, to multinational companies such as Dangote. You know Dangote. You have Globe Motors. You have MTN. You have MTN there. MTN is a conglomerate. The Globe, the Airtel. All right. These are you know all firms in an industry, the telecommunication industry. All right. So so it also considers the range of industries such as telecommunication industry, like I've just discussed now, the banking industry, where you have Zenith Bank, Eco Bank, all right, Unity Bank, Union Bank, UBA, just name them, all the banks. They're all in the banking industry. The automobile industry, Glow Motors, the Scoscaris, the Ford, the Ferrari, and all that. These are the automobile. So these are the industrial economy tells us we'll be looking at their problems of the firms in the industry, the market, and their relationship, how they relate in society. So we are looking at it. That is the prism. That's what industrial economics will be looking at. That's what we'll be looking at. Because the industry is the engine of the economy, the productive sector is very, very important. We're looking at look at their setting. what the market analysis, what the profitability is like, what is their employment ratio like, in terms of employment. And so these are things we're looking at in this. So the primary objective, now when I talk about the industry and industrial relation, the primary objective of industrial relation is to maintain and develop a good and healthy relationship between employees and employers, between operatives and management. All this we've been talking about is to maintain a healthy industrial relationship. In an industry, one is not healthy, there will be chaos. It will affect the economy because the industry is the productive sector. That is the investment sector of the economy, the sector that grows the economy. That's the industrial sector. That's why when some people say you need to diversify, you need to we need to build industries, you need to, because why you make that statement is government should build industry, or if they don't build industry, they should provide enabling environment for the industries to operate. That's for the private sector to build industries. Because the industry, the growth is the engine room of the economy. All right, they help make the economy to grow in terms of GDP, in terms of employment creation, in terms of standard of living, and all that. So we must maintain a healthy industrial relations. So in other words, the primary objective is to maintain and develop good and healthy relations between the employees and employers, or the operatives and management. Yes, for us to have this, the employer, that's those whom they have hired, must be in a good relation with the management or the operatives. And that's why we have employee employer worker relationship. That's for harmony, because that will enable the industry to grow or to be productive. When there's chaos, people go on try strike. Look at what's happening in the educational industry now, right? Educational sector. I mean, apart from the private school, for more than 5 months now, it's in chaos. There's no healthy. You can't talk about the educational sector in Nigeria and the people begin to clap for you. You will not, because it's not. It's in comatose. So when you maintain a healthy relationship, it makes room for production. So, whereas the secondary objective, the primary objective is to maintain a healthy relationship between the employer and the employees. All right. The second objective of industrial growth is to establish and foster sound relationship between workers and safeguarding their interests. This one is maintain it. They want to foster a sound relationship. This will enable them to do what? To safeguard their interests. Because the management will safeguard interest, the labor union or the workers will safeguard there, because at the end of the day, assuming workers comes up to say, the union say, I want you to increase our salaries and all that, the price of goods and services are quite is inflationary, it's quite expensive in the market. Okay, the management will say, okay, yeah, let us also safeguard the interest. What is the cost of production? It's also high. So what do we do? So if we increase your salaries and wages, it's going to affect our cost of production and also our profit margin, so to speak. So what do we do? They'll go into, so if you are to do that, why don't you let government provide enabling environment. Can you give us a reduction in taxes and taxes and all the policies, put policies that are making our business environment hostile. So why don't you government try to relax some of these policies and measures? And so everybody is playing his bit to safeguard his or her interest, whether you're a worker or management. So industrial relations in an organization is the sum total of the management attitude to labor, right? And the labor's attitude to management policies and practices that affect the interests of the employees. This is symbiotic. So in other words, industrial relations are basically interaction between the two sides of the various issues of common interests through dialogues. Yeah, all right. The two sides shape each other's attitude. It is therefore the primary responsibility of management to develop industrial relations with workers and the unions so as to promote productivity on a continued basis. When there is this dialogue, all right, discussions, dialogue, you're promoting a harmony, you're promoting industrial harmony. When there is a dialogue between the workers, or that's the union, and the management, they are promoting industrial harmony, and it will promote productivity on a continuous basis. All right. Now, let's look at the scope of industrial economy. It is very important because remember the other time, what I gave you in the voiceover note is just a general scope, but the scope here has two broad elements. So those general scope, I have compressed it now into two broad elements. Two broad elements. One is what we call the descriptive elements, and the second one is the business policy and decision making elements of industrial economy. There are two broad elements: the decision or the descriptive elements, and the second one is business policy and decision making element. Now, what do you find in the descriptive elements? It is confirm, it is conf, you know it concerned with information content of the subject of industrial economy. Information content. When someone wants to set up a business, I'm concerned about the information about of the industry of the which I'm going to telecommunication industry, right? I want to go into the banking industry. I want to know the information. What are the information? It aims to provide industrialist or businessman with survey of industrial or commercial organizations of its own country, okay, or other country with which it might come in contact with. Let's look at the commercial organization of this country. It will give him the full information regarding the natural resources. What's the nature of resources? I'm going to the oil and gas industry now. What nature of oil and gas? Yes, is the oil. Nigeria is an oil producing nation. I want to go into oil service. So let me get information about the nature of natural resources. What are the industrial climate in the industry? What is the climate? Is the environment, is the climate conducive for me to come and invest here in this industry? It is important. Is the government hostile? If it's hostile, I want to come. So I want to get that information. That's what people, when people want to go and come to Nigeria to invest, that's the kind of thing they want to do. Want to know the climate. That's why when we say people are not coming, no longer coming to Nigeria to invest because maybe the climate is not favorable. It's not conducive. Excuse me, it's not conducive. So the natural resources, the industrial climate of the country, what is the situation of infrastructure in terms of road network, in terms of power? You can ask yourself, somebody, am I coming here if Nigeria does not have a power? So I can get the diesel or generator to do my business. These are information you need to get to know. We call it the descriptive element, all right, in industrial economics. Okay? Then we look at infrastructure in lines of traffic, supplies of factors of production, all right, land, labor, capital, Then the trade and commercial policy. What are the trade and commercial policies of your respective country, of the country? All right. The policies, is it is the policy, is it conducive? I want to know what are my government trade and commercial policies before I come in to invest here. That information, a prospective industrialist or will be investor or in any country will seek to find out. Then we'll be looking at then the degree of competition in the business which they operate. How competitive is the business? Because in a market system, you have a competitive market system where it is everybody's trying to capture the market share. Okay, I want to look at who are the big players. Who I want to find out. It's an information. Finding out. I just want to find out what is happening. All right, Alaji, I want to find out what is happening. All right, it's very very important. It's It's the descriptive information that is very critical for you to come and invest in your business. And that's the descriptive aspect of descriptive element of uh, of uh, of industrial economy. Then the business policy and decision making. Here, this second element is analytical. All right, it's analytical because it's dealing with a topic such as the market analysis. What's the market share? I want to find out in terms of market analysis. I want to find out the extent of which I can capture the market share. Like, let's give an instance. I have we want to enter the brew the brewery industry. All right, or yeah, yeah, or the soft drink or whatever, industry. I want to enter. I can see the Coca-Cola, the Pepsi, and all that. They are full. They are here. But for me to venture into it, so I have to find out to what extent I'm going to I'll be able to capture the market share. All right, which is very very critical, very very important. I have to capture the market share of the economy. I have to look at the pricing. The pricing is also very, very important. All right. The pricing is very critical too. Yeah. So I have to take a decision on the pricing. I want to take a decision on the pricing. All right. Then the choice of techniques. The choice of techniques. All right. They want to take. I want to take a decision on the choice of techniques. Then location of plants. Localization. You need to look at. You want to sell an industry where it is close to the raw materials. You don't have what you call localization. Your days, those days you were when you were handling, when you have the localization of industry. So the choice of location is a function of the closeness to the source of raw materials, right? It's very important. What are investment planning? What am I? How do I plan my investment? What is the nature of investment? Your cash flow analysis, all right? The financial plan, the cash flow, to what extent are you going to be borrowing money and all that? These are very important. Then employment, your employment stream, the hiring and firing of labor. What are your financial decisions? Then how to product diversification? Will you be able to diversify your product? So these are things to be looking at under the business policy and decision making. Very important. This one is analytical. That's why the first element is descriptive. The descriptive, you want to collect the information about things. The other one is the analytical business decision. So these are things that will help you in that's the two broad elements of industrial economics. All right. So in other words, the business policy and decision making is vital part of the subjects, and much of the received theory of industrial economics is concerned with it. However, it does not mean that the first element of the descriptive industrial economics is less important. The two elements are interdependent, since without adequate information, no one can take decision about the business. So this is what in this first model. Just take your time. You have seen the PowerPoint. Take your time. If you have questions, further clarification, just put it in our WhatsApp platform, so I'll be able to answer it. Thank you. See you in the next model.